It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and yes, it is now time for us to have a look at Riverland football. No Big Beaver tonight. He is out building a dam somewhere, I'd imagine, gnawing away with those big front teeth. But
he's got those kids actually working on the dam, I think.
That's what he might have.
Maybe out camping somewhere out in the middle of nowhere and out of range for this because, of course, it is the weekend where the Zone Football Championships are, and some of our guests are not with us because of that tonight. But it is a big week last week in round 9, wasn't it?
It was. His boys, Waikery, were too good for Loxton North. 14-17, 101 to Loxton North, 6-1-37. Gordon booted 6 for them. Taylor booted 4. White 2. Spenceley, who is a star. Taylor, Moon, Gordon, they were named best for the Maggies. For Loxton North, they'd be disappointed with this. Kent booted 2, and he was named in their best, along with Beswick, Romeo, and Voigt. But they were never really in the hunt. They trailed at half-time by the better part of 6.5 goals, and it never got any better for them.
No, it didn't, but Waikery are the form side of the comp. But interestingly enough, I looked at the leading goal kickers for the Riverland Football League, and what is interesting here is that there is, in Waikery being top of the table, there is not one Waikery player that hits that score sheet until you get down to Dustin Gordon with, just wait for this, 14 goals for the year as the top of the table side. So in past years, Nobes kicked 100 goals for Waikery, and a couple of times got close to it in his career up there. But those big goal kickers are not present this year in the Riverland League. But in other goal kicking, it was Renmark 9-18-72 to beat Berry 4-4-28.
Lack thereof, he should have gone with Flowman 9-18. Bad kicking is bad football, but they were still good enough. Blight managed to kick it straight 3 times. Lelman 2. Lelman, Vader, Garrett, and Blight in the best. And for Berry, it was Lehman 2, Rosenwig, Grieger, Carell, and Finlay named in their best.
Yeah, and also Penaluna. You were going to go past him, I thought. And what about?
I avoided it on purpose.
And what about Safralides?
Yeah, I left him out too.
I didn't leave him out of my best players. Definitely for those two blokes. You got my nod.
Yeah.
What about this last game? Loxton getting up over Barmera Monash. Loxton, who were the top of the table earlier this year, only just beat Barmera Monash in a really good game down at the lakeside at Barmera.
Yes, Loxton going beautifully this year, as we know. So 8-point winners there. And Barmera crew had this game somewhat under control at half-time, but can only muster up 1 goal in a poor second half, whereas Loxton managed to put it together after half-time, even though they were inaccurate. Probably should have won by more. Yeomans booted 3 for Loxton. Evans, Gutsky, and Kasaluki named in their best. For Barmera Monash, it was Middleton 3, Fried booted 2. Or Frid, if you want to go that way. Smith, Middleton, Drogelmuller, and Fisher named in their best.
Having some problems with, was it Kasalki there?
No, Gutsky. Kasolki, he's good. Kasolki's a good player.
Is that Gutsky?
Yeah.
I reckon Gutsky. That might be okay, we're going to get some Riverland play in the Eastern Zone. They'll join the Mallee and the Hills in that zone. And, it's pretty hard with the zone football on in the sense that there aren't a lot of Riverland players going into it. Daniel Elafridis from Barmera Monash, that was one that has made it. Loxton North's Brad Bezic is there. Drew Kasalki from Loxton, who you just mentioned. Also Jesse Will from Loxton is amongst it. And great to see those boys make the interleague side out of Riverland football. And with that in mind, let's have a look at some independent Riverland as the boys are all heading to Victor Harbour this weekend, and the rest of the sides, and including the Big Beaver, having a bit of time off. This was a really interesting game. Sedan Cambrai get up and beat Paringa. And Paringa, how about this? Sedan Cambrai's in the top 2. Paringa have just lost to them, and Paringa's position on the ladder, they look like they won't make the finals, which is unbelievable.
Oh, boy. Back to collecting spuds there at Paringa, the poor blokes. They won't be liking that. But, of course, for Sedan Cambrai, Kane booted 3. He's a star. Gratz, Wakely, Voigt, and Schultz, both Schultzes, named in their best. Fran, Goff, Peters, Smith, Wade, and Bapti named best for the Spud Farmers.
Fran or Fran?
Fran.
Okay. I used to know some France.
Well, they're in Germany. My boys, Cobdogla, they were too good. How well are they tracking right now? 12-19-91 to the Swan Reach crew, Blanchetown Swan Reach 5-6-36. Cobby's boys just dominating. Hill booted 3. Elefarides booted 3, and Gilgan booted 3. Verrill, Diego, and Elefarides named in their best, along with Richter, Jennings, and Gray. And for Blanchetown Swan Reach, it was Martinson, Sparks, Gribble, Oakley, Clark, and Cowland named in their best.
Elefarides, that was nicely sort of mucked up, wasn't it? He's playing in the zone side anyway.
He's a star.
He's a very good player, just can't pronounce his name, but a very good player all the same. How about this, Wonka, 28-22, beat Brownswell 6-6. Heavens above. The poor old Brownswell lads have had an absolutely horrible season. I just hope that they can keep the club going in the off-season, but they certainly are struggling away. And that was actually a rivals match against Wonka, who are the other sort of, I guess, grain farmers in this region.
They are, and Flowman, you'll have to give us the goal kickers and the best.
Okay, I'll do that for you. Renshaw 5 and the BL 4. Wood and Schultz both 3 and Bennell 3. The other Schultz, C. Schultz and Wiseman and L. Hempel all booted 2. That's why you actually handed that job over to me, because you knew that there was a lot of them. Renshaw, Stone and Winan there in the better players for Wonka, and for Brownswell, Kershaw kicked 2. Victor, Braun, B. Hempel, Crockett, Atkins and Island. And this is this country, like Brownswell and Wonka, it's interesting because there's a lot of Hempels that own land across this whole area.
That is true. Good wrap-up of football there in Riverland Independent.
Yeah, it is the Independent and the also Riverland, of course, the Eastern Zone going to Victor Harbour here on the Friday Night Sports Show.
Oh, goodness me. I couldn't